Hello, Fiona Whitten from Oakville Crafts, and welcome to this week's Stamping and Creating. So I have something a little bit different for you today. I did post yesterday that I was going to do this and you could craft along with me if you wanted to. Just bear with me for 2 ticks whilst I just double check that this thing is actually going out on Facebook. Looks like it is. Yes, okay, that's good. So, yes, so I gave a very short list yesterday of things that if you wanted to craft with me, then that's what you needed. This is being recorded, so it will be here for future, for reference, and also it will get uploaded to YouTube later this week, so you can always find it there too. So what I'm sharing is a very quick and very easy fun fold card, and all 3 of these were made exactly the same way. Starts off life as 2 pieces of coloured cardstock. So for this one it was Old Olive, some double-sided paper, so I've got some reindeer fun here, and some white cardstock, and that is basically all you need other than some inks, stamps and whatever else that you want or need to decorate your panels and things. So I'll show you the 3 cards that we made for, this is part of the Acorns Craft and Chat on Monday. So sometimes I sort of use the ideas there and then I steal them and use them for stamping and creating, because I think actually everybody would like to see how to make these and just how simple it is. So this fun fold just involves, it's a 1/4 sheet of cardstock as the base card, and then there is a strip of cardstock that creates this little folding flap. And then the difference in these 3 cards is where you put this flap piece. So for this first one, I adhered the little card to the right hand side, and then on the left side I had my panel, but before I stuck that on I decorated, and then the right hand side has a panel of the paper on and decorated on the inside. So that's what that one looks like. The second one I made exactly the same again, but this time I put the white panel onto that mini card and glued it to the left hand side. So again, it's exactly the same card. All it is it involves putting this in a different place, which means that you also then put your panels of white, decorated white, and your paper in a different place. So this one again was stamped. That was stuck on there. Inside's being decorated, so you can put right on there to whoever it is that you want to send it to. And I've got my paper here. Third one, again slightly different. All that's happened is effectively it's the reverse of this. So whereas this is on the left side, this one is on the right hand side, and you can switch these out whatever way you want to, really. So you can in fact make 4 different sorts by swapping that over and then having the white panel on that side flat. So this one, I've got my paper on, I've decorated the inside, and I decorated my white panel. This time, rather than stamping, I actually fussy cut out some of the deer from the reindeer fun paper. And that's how quick. It was very quick and easy. I think we made 3 cards each in the space of, well, the basic cards in the space of about 20 minutes, but it was all the decorating and everything that took the time to finish everything off. So without further ado, I will show you how to create those cards. So we're going to start off. I'll show you what I've chosen. So I have 2 sheets of basic black. Not exactly Christmas, I know, and I'm not sure that I'm actually going to create Christmas cards, but I am going to create some wintry cards, and you'll see that in a minute. So I've got my 2 sheets of basic blacks. That's my coloured cardstock. I have 1 A4 sheet of basic white, And then I've chosen a 12 by 12 sheet of designer paper. So, and the reason I chose this is that I've got here a scene that I can cut up, and effectively I can use these for each of my cards. So you can see there's deer on each of these. So this paper is the, I want to say it's the Winter Meadow, which is paper that carried over from last year. You can find it in the main catalogue, but it's just kind of hidden away, but rest assured it is there. So those are the 3 items that I have to start my card. So the first thing I need to do is I need to take my sheet of coloured cardstock, and I simply need to cut it into 4. So I'm working with A4 paper, which means that on the short side I'm going to cut it at 10.5 because it's 21 centimetres across. So I'm simply going to do that. And then on the long side, which is 29.7 centimetres. I don't know why it's that, but that's what the measurement is. I'm just going to cut it at 14.85. You can cut it at 14.9. It just means that you'll have 2 at 14.9 and 2 at 14.8. So what's the millimetre between friends? So those are 4 portions that I can use for my base card. I then need to cut the mini card, so this piece here, this piece here. So this is 10.5 centimetres wide. So I need a piece that is double 10.5 because it needs to be folded over, and roughly half of this. So what I did was I cut it. Let's see, what did I do it as? I did it at 7.5 from memory. Let's just double check. Yep, 7.5. But I cut it on the long side at 7.5 because this is the 21, so I can just simply score that in half. So on the long side, I'm going to cut at 7.5 centimetres. So you'll get 3 pieces out of this. You don't quite get 4. So that piece is not quite wide enough. So once you've got your 3 pieces which measure the 7.5 by 21, you're simply going to turn them and score on that long side at 10.5 centimetres. And don't do what I did on Monday, which was simply cut one of them in half by mistake. So make sure that your cutting blade, which is the darker of the 2 on the stamping trimmer, well out of the way. And then you can just go ahead and score with the lighter coloured scoring blade. So again, last one, I'm scoring at 10.5. And then you want to fold and burnish these. Make sure that all the corners line up. You don't want one that ends up with a bit of a wonky end or anything. So that's the first one. That's the second one. And this is the third one. So that piece, as I said, is not quite wide enough, but I've probably got some scrap somewhere. So I'm going to put that away. So I've got 3 card bases and I've got 3 pieces. And my 3 card bases are basically quarters of the cardstock. So they're 10.5 by 14.85. And then I've got 3 pieces which are 7.5 centimetres by 21, which has then been scored at 10.5. So I've got those. Okay. So the next thing we need to get is our basic white. Now, it may be that the coloured paper that you have actually coordinates better with the very vanilla or some other colour, then obviously you don't have to use white. I'm using white because the paper that I'm using will go quite nicely with it. And for this, you need to cut 6 pieces that will fit just slightly, so that they are slightly smaller than here. So this is 7.5 centimetres wide by 10.5. So I'm going to cut it so that it's a 1/2 centimetre narrower and 1/2 centimetre shorter. So I need them to be 7 by 10. So this time I'm going to cut strips on the short side at 7 centimetres, because 7 into 21 goes 3 times. And then I'm going to cut each strip at 10. So again, I'm not going to quite get, I'll get the 6 out, but I won't get any more out, because the what's left over is not quite big enough, as you will see from, it's just slightly shorter, but that will be good for stamping. So you can use those for stamping images and things on. So what did I say, 10. So I'm just going to crack on doing those. So that's number 4. That's a piece that can go out the way. And then again, two more that are 10. Okay, so now I've got 6 of those. And then lastly, we need to cut the double-sided paper. And as I said, I want to use this piece along the bottom. And let's see, problem is that I kind of want to keep the deer whole. So I'm going to cut it, you know, I'm just going to cut it at 10, because I know that that's what I need. And you only need 3 pieces of this. So again, this is going to be 10 by 7. So there's the first one. Right, I'm going to cut this one from that end, because I really do want to keep that deer in there. Normally I'll just go chop chop, I just chop it and I wouldn't worry about it, but as I said, I want to keep the deer in. And then this one again, let's see, I'm going to cut that there, and I'm going to cut it then properly at 7. So there we go. So that is all the cutting done. So I have my 3 pieces of designer series paper. I have 6 pieces of white. I've got my 3 sort of mini folded cards, and I've got my base card. And then it's really a case of simply gluing and putting your images on, sentiments on, and then just gluing it all together. So that's the basic bits that you need to create the cards. So I'm going to make a couple of them. So I'm going to start off this, what was the first one that I made originally, was that one. So I've got my, let's just start with that. Let's move everything else out of the way. And then, so for each card you need 2 pieces of the white, a piece of the designer series paper, and then obviously your 2 pieces for your base card. So this one I'm just going to simply glue the paper onto that flap. She says, where is my glue? Oh, great. Bear with me 2 ticks. I seem to have put it somewhere. Oh, I've left it all over the other side of the room. Not so good. Along with my blocks. But hey, right. So at the moment I'm working through all the what's left in the bottles from Card and a Cuppa, because people get a little bit annoyed when they have to, oh, that's not going to be no good, annoyed when they have to try and shake their glue out, which is what happens basically when they start running out, but hey. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on around the edge and a little bit through the middle, making sure that you want to have the score line at the top of this. So if you've got a piece of paper that you're using to go on there, which is directional, you do need to make sure that it is the right way round. Otherwise you're going to have an upside down deer. So now this is going to get glued to the right hand side of that panel for the back. And again, all you need to do is put whatever adhesive it is that you prefer to use. Now I like to use the liquid glue. Some of you use tape, which is fine, other than the fact that once you've stuck it down. I like the glue because it's got a bit of wiggle room, but hey, there you go. So you just need to make sure that it lines up with the bottom and the side and the top, which it should do, because it should be exactly the same size. So that's that. So then I have two white panels, one which will go on that left hand side and one which will go inside the card. So this piece inside the card is the bit for you to write your greeting on, whatever, and obviously you can decorate it. Now I have those bits of paper that's left from the that wide piece that I used. So you know what, I'm actually going to use a little bit of that. I think that will be quite nice to finish off the inside. It also means I don't have to stamp. So I quite like having that bit of tree there, so I'm just going to cut that out. Now it's not very wide on the inside, we have to remember that, so I'm only going to cut it like 1 centimetre, because if I start doing my usual 1.5, then you're going to decrease the amount of space you have for writing your sentiment. So it doesn't need to be huge. So I'm going to put that on there. Stick that to the edge of the white panel to go on the inside of the card, making sure that I want this one right up to the edge. Sometimes I leave a little gap, but this time around I want it to be directly on the edge. And actually use these scissors just to make sure it's not too long. There's a tiny little bit to come off, and we're going to glue that in. Like so. So that's going to go in there. So that's going to be the first one. I'm going to do all the stamping at the end. So I'm hoping I will get all of these done. So I've got another base card, another one of those, 2 more pieces of white, and a piece of the double-sided paper. So this time I'm going to glue the double-sided paper to that side, and I'm going to glue this to that side. So I'm going to glue this bit first. Just want to check to see how my edges match and everything. So the flap again is going to go on the right hand side. Or is it? No, it's going to go on the left hand side. Going mad. So we're going to put that on the left hand side. again, try and make sure that your little card is square on that back panel. Then your paper's going to go flat onto that open space on the right. Oops, like so. You can decorate this. Again, I'm going to cheat, and I'm just going to use another piece of the paper. Which bit shall we use this time? I'm going to use one that's got a bit of grey on it. The white and grey. And you know what? I'm actually going to cut a third piece for the other card as well. Just saves me getting my trimmer out again. And when I said that we've actually done with all the cutting, so that's those pieces. Let's put that out of the way. So this one, well, again, it can go here or it can go on the other side. I am actually going to put it on the other side this time round. There is a right and a wrong way up with this, so I just need to be careful. Otherwise it'll end up having to put it on the other side. If I put it on upside down, yeah, just trim off that tiny little bit. Put that inside the card. And when you're putting it in, try and sort of make sure, or try and get these bottom level to be straight. Okay, and then that's the piece that's going to get decorated and go on that panel. So that's that one. And then last but not least, the third one. Again, I've got my back panel, I've got the little card. Oops, I've got my little bit that I cut here. And this time I'm going to put this paper onto the left side. This panel will go on the right. So I'm going to glue this bit on first. Now you could, in theory, put this panel in the middle, but it would mean having to cut your piece of double-sided paper in half, so that you've got one half here and the other half there with this panel in the middle. So you could do it. I've just chosen not to because I quite like having that whole panel to that side. And again, I'm going to put this piece in. To be honest, I have no idea now which way up is up, but I'll just go with it. Like so. I am assuming that's the right way up to go on the left hand side, but hey. Let's just glue this piece in. Like so. I'm going to glue this piece on. Like so. And again, I'm trying to make sure that at the top and the bottom there line up. So that's that third card, and then this panel will go on here once it's decorated. So that's basically the 3 cards. So I've got 3 panels that I still need to decorate because the inside ones have already been decorated. And what we are now at 5 to 5, so it's taken me 25 minutes to make those 3, and as I said, it just leaves me to decorate these 3 panels. I was umming and ahhing about using the reindeer fun, but then I decided actually the problem is that the image is so whimsical that I didn't think it would actually go too well with that paper. So I did grab so that's the reindeer fun. As I said, I think the image is a little bit too whimsical to go with that paper. So I do have both the Grassy Grove, which has a deer in it, and I also have Frosted Forest, which has simply got trees. So I'm going to use, and that's got trees and a deer. So I might do this. Let's see, I'm going to need some scrap white because I think I might end up having to I might just do the trees on there on the background and then stamp the deer. As I've not used this set for ages. I think I'm going to use I might use a grey granite or I don't think pecan pie, which is what I was originally thinking about using, would be that appropriate. So I'm going to, this is smoky slate, so we're going to see how we get on with this, apart from the fact that it's quite juicy, so it's a bit bubbly. So let's see how that stamps. Ah, he's quite sweet. And let's do a grey granite one as well and see what he looks like, or she. No idea. It's a deer. Except I'm now going to put that on smoky slate again, but hey. So we've got 2 smoky slate on there. Like that. And then another piece of that scrap basic white that I had left. Let's do 2 grey granite deers. Well, that is kind of more of a deer colour without it being too brown. I think it will dry greyer. Right, let's let that dry for a second, and in the meantime I'm going to stamp the background. I've got my 3 pieces there, and this has got some trees on it, which are quite in keeping with those. I did actually wash all my blocks the other day, and I've stacked them all back, which means that they're all nicely ordered, but that also means that the one that I want is at the bottom. So hey, there we go. Let's move that out the way. Let's see, do I want it on the left or on the right? Right, let's go for this. So I'm going to do this with basic grey. So I'm sticking to sort of the neutrals. I'm not sure that I want to use black. just line this up so that I can stamp it. Ah. So I'll have one on the right and I'll do one on the left. Well, they're two actually, aren't they? Like that. And this one, I'm going to try something. That's that. And then I'm going to also do some more on that side, but they're going to be off. Okay. So put that out of the way. So I've got my 3 images. Well, the start of my 3. I've got 4 deer. I might have to do a couple more. Let's see. So that was the grey granite. And that was the smoky slate. Let's cut all 4 of them out. She says, I thought I had my dies here, but you know what? Fancy Grove, where are they? There are dies that go with it, but I know that they are. Bear with me 2 ticks. I'm sorry. She'll just quickly run and get them. So it's going to sound really echoey. Hopefully I can put my hand straight on them. She says, without having to flick through everything, but oh, here we go. I've got them. Come back again. So I've got the Grove dies, which should be the dies that coordinate. Yep, so that is the die for the deer. And there's also one that I could use to do another deer, but I didn't think to bring some scrap paper over with me. And I'm sure you don't really want me disappearing off again trying to find things around my craft room. So I'm just going to bring in my mini machine because the deer is quite small. Put that on. So it's the usual sandwich, plate 1, plate 2, cardstock, well, stamped image, and your die. Oh heck, sorry, I've got hiccups now. I'm trying to find the end of the washi tape. There we go. I've got a piece of washi tape to hold the die in place because there's no magnetic plate for this. Just going to have to trust that this will do the trick. It should do. There's no reason why it shouldn't. But I don't want it bouncing around. Let's just run that through. Let's see how that will look. Not sure. Maybe I should have put the trees further up so that they looked further in the distance. That's one. Let's do this one as well. Again, some washi tape to hold it. The good thing is that paper has 2 sides, or cardstock has 2 sides, so I am simply going to turn those pieces over and stamp again, but with the trees further up. does that one look? Actually, I quite, so that's smoky slate, that's grey granite. I think I prefer the grey granite one. Any thoughts? Does anyone have a preference? Again, let's cut this one out. That's that one. So I've now got two grey granite, which I quite like. I'm not so sure about the smoky slate, so I'm not going to use them. I'm going to use the grey granite one. I think I might end up stamping a couple more quickly. So let's just move that out of the way for a second, and maybe just, so there are my trees. Let's see what it looks like on this one actually. So it might work slightly better because those trees are further in the background. Right, okay, so I know I need to put the trees further up. So I'll get that basic grey again, turn all of those over and stamp again, because when that's on the black you won't see the trees that were. There, so I'm going to put them further up. I think now with the deer on there that will be a better perspective, so that will be better. So these ones we're going to get on, this one was on the left, so you know what, I'm going to stamp them on the right, further up, and again I think that will be quite nice. And then this one was on the right, so now it's going to be on the left. And then I've gone and put it down at the bottom. You know what, we don't actually have to have a deer on there. Could just leave it as it is and just have a very simple and in fact, I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I might just stamp trees on here just to see what it looks like. So that's that one. That's that. And then I'm just going to, rather than re-inking, I'm just going to stamp it for a third time in a, so that it looks slightly lighter. So we've kind of got a forest. And then the one thing that we don't have, maybe threw my scissors on the floor. I did that the other day and I managed to catch them with my foot, which was not a very good idea. Won't be doing that again in a hurry. So then the other thing we need to do is sentiment. So I think he's going to go on there and he's going to go there. Or she. She said, I have no idea. Now that's going to get glued on. That's going to have a dimensional on. So then, do I want to do birthday or do I want to do Christmas? Well, I do have a Merry Christmas. Like so. Which I know is very red, but hey. But let's just see, because I can put it on here, and it doesn't matter if it goes over this bit slightly, because this is the bit that will flap up, so it's not going to get in the way. So I could just simply put that on. Right. Some scrap white. Actually, I want to take those trees off because I can use that one then. This seems to be the only Merry Christmas that I have that's in a line. All the others are not. Right. Black. So that will then tie in with the actual colour of the cardstock. Let's stamp that. I'm going to just be stamping on the edge, along the edge, simply because I can then use my trimmer to cut the straight lines. This is assuming, of course, that my sentiment is straight without too much fuss. So I only need 3. So I've got 3 sentiments for 3 cards. Oops. Let's just put these out of the way for a second. So first one, and I'm going to use the right hand side as my guide. So let's have a look. I think it's a sheer fluke that it kind of looks like 1.5 centimetres would be doing the trick. Maybe not. And there we go. I'm just doing this by eye. It may be that it's all a bit too long, a bit too wide, but I think I'll get away with it. You can spend forever a day. Actually, I'm just going to use scissors. What the heck. So this one, you see, I could, this has got my, that's got that on, so I could put my Merry Christmas along the top here because it's out of the way of the deer there. So I'm going to glue that on. So let's glue this piece on. Like so. So that's going to go on there. Now because I turned that cardstock over, my edges are a little bit raised on there. So you can use a bone folder or you can use your fingernail just to flatten those edges down. Like that. I've got a mark there. I'm going to put that in the middle, in between the trees, and my dimensionals are here. Yay! Crumbs, I've just noticed the time. I'm just using the edge of what's left of my dimensionals just to put the deer on. I use that bit for the neck, just to support it. Oops. That bit for the leg. So just use every bit of them. I think that will be fine. It's not as if it's going to have any extra weight on it, so it's not that bad. So that's going to be, So the deer's going to go in here. See if I can hide that little. Yeah, but then he's got a tree coming out of his head, and that's not so good. So that's that. We have a Merry Christmas, which I'm going to. Actually, I'm just going to cut that at an angle like that. That was the bit that came off, so I'm going to use it at the other end to simply help me get the same angle, just by lining it up with the rest, and you can just about make out the letter through that piece. So that's that. So that's the Merry Christmas, which I'm going to put up here. And that does, to my mind, look a bit too narrow, too wide. But I am not going to fret it. I wouldn't normally, but I'm kind of getting a bit. So I'm just going to use my trimmer and use that dark piece that's. She says I'm going to do. I could do with a guillotine, a mini guillotine that is. It doesn't need to be a big one. Oh dear, what was it I said? Be brave, completely mess it up. Hey ho, let's go for the scissors then. If it's uneven, it's uneven. That's not too bad. Right, quickly, let's get on with this. Otherwise, my husband's going to be complaining that I'm not cooking the dinner, seeing as it's already gone 5. I'm not usually going on this late. I'm usually done and dusted in about 30 minutes. But then again, I don't normally make 3 cards, but hey. So that's that. So that's my sentiment. And I did bring out some iridescent gems, which I think we can use for that for decorating. To use the huge ones. Where's my take your pick tool? I'm going to put these on here. There you go. Hide that blot. Didn't really seem appropriate to put a butterfly on, which is quite what we do quite often. Right, so that's the first one. This one, again, that's going to go on there, but this time that's the flap. See if I can finish these in 5 minutes. So that's that. This time I'm just going to put the Merry Christmas along there, and I'm just going to cut it straight. Again, use up some of this. More of these on. And the other thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to use some Winker Stella quickly. on the trees. So it's not going to be, it's going to be quite subtle, it's not going to be too in your face. That'll do. So I think that's got a little bit of sparkle on it, not a lot. So that's 2. And let's do the third one quickly. That Merry Christmas may actually fit on there, across there. Where did I put it? It's, let's see quickly. Does it fit? Just. So maybe I'll do that. So that'll be a little bit different from all the other 2. Basic grey. No, black. Wasn't it? That's what I did the others in. So the tuxedo. Memento black. Can do this on the bottom. That just about fits across. I'm going to glue that on. And then we're going to have the deer on there. Let's just take this bit. I've already started cutting that bit, so let's use that. On his head. Okay, there. I think that will do it for the time. What's that? That. Goodness, almost finished. Quick. There we go, that's that. And again, I think I might put a bit of wing Costello on, and then I'm done. So that is 3 cards. Took a bit longer than I thought. But you can make these as simple as you like. I mean, one thought is rather than actually stamping and decorating these white panels, is simply take your piece of paper and actually put continuous panels. So you would, instead of cutting 3, you would cut 6 going across, and then you would just stick them on so that the image on this side carried on, and then the image here carried on there, and the image there carried on again. So it's just a thought. So those are today's cards. So first one, stamped lots of trees, got a simple Merry Christmas. Inside it's just got some of the paper that's the same as that paper. This one again, we've got 2 lots of trees and a deer. The Merry Christmas this time is actually on the other panel. And so long as it's on that side where the flap is, it doesn't matter if it overhangs slightly. If I was to put it on here, then it would be simply catching all the time. Did I say that? And then that one again, it was tree. So that one was the second one with the deer, where we just simply stamped the sentiment on the panel. And again, that's still got the same paper. So those were the 3 from today. I shared already the 3 that made. So these are another 3. So I've got quite a few of these. So these are another 3 that I made on Monday during the Acorn. So these were my original samples. So this is the Yuletide Village. So again, the flap inside has just got a sentiment. You don't actually have to put anything else on the inside. You could just leave it blank if you wanted to. Got some little houses, and a tree, and then a church. And again, season's greetings and another tree inside. So very simple, basic cards that can be used just by changing out your paper and your stamps and obviously sentiments. You can use this for all sorts of occasions, so you don't necessarily, I mean, I'm making Christmas cards because it's that time of the year we're all making Christmas cards. But, you know, you could do this for birthdays, all sorts of, you know, different occasions. So I hope you've enjoyed that. As I said, it was 3 cards, so exactly the same supplies. So these 3 are made out of 2 pieces of coloured cardstock and a piece of white cardstock, and then also a piece of double-sided paper. So that was all that took. And you can do these quite quickly. You just sort of get a little production line going, you know, cut everything and then stick stuff that you can stick, and then just have a production line for the stamping and decorating. So anyway, thank you for joining me. Next week is another stamping and creating event. Because I was just thinking, because Card in a Cup is not until the 6th of November. Tomorrow is Halloween, so have fun trick-or-treating, stay safe, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.